So today I wanted to talk about, a little habits that I've cultivated over time to make me accomplish a little more in my life. I'm sure most of you do have them, but if you're joining me on this live, then maybe we can talk about, remind you on if you're using them. I just wanted to get into a little bit of how the tools that I use to keep me going, okay? And leave you with a little bit more for the Sunday so that you can think about it. Couple of things. So, first of all, you start, like I said last time, with immense gratitude for what you have in your life, right? My starting point is always gratitude. So, I start from there and let's start with gratitude. So, first, when you're going out there, and I set the intention for my day, and how I've been able to, write my books, create the vision that I wanted of my business plan, which is, like just not the pure business, but the work I do to pull it all together, how I kind of get my content for you guys going, how I write on my blogs, the books that I've put out, like I said, the audio series, you know, you're just juggling so many balls in the day. You're consulting people on lifestyle health, and I do that on a personal level. So I have to put myself out there because there are no assistants between me and, the people that I work with. Hi, Vinita. Good morning. And you are, and I am kind of in my kitchen all the time. So if you look at the yang and the yin elements of what I do, my yang element is being a very kind of out there, my type A side coming out, pushing myself all the time, being near fire, being near gas. When I say yang, that makes me super contracted. So that brings me to, tightness in my body, which is yang. And therefore, I have to look at the yin aspects of what I do, which is writing, creating content for you, consulting with my clients because there's a level of empathy and compassion that comes in for their ailments. So that's the yin element of what I do. So not only do I look for activities that balance me in achieving my day, I also look for other things that make balance, like in foods. Foods, I'm constantly seeking balance. So, foods I put out there on the posts, but I use the foods to then take me to a level of balance where I start achieving the balance in my work life. Okay, so that's what I wanted to touch upon today, and small habits that I've inculcated along the way to make it happen for me. What do I do? How do I juggle so many balls? Well, for one, like I said, I spring from immense gratitude towards the people that support me. So I have a really good home staff, which you have to be blessed to have, and I have a really good work staff. So both those elements help me to get started for my day. And if I get those two energies going with me fueling them, I feel that really helps to establish the tone for the day. So the first thing is that I get up and meditate. Okay. Now, while I know most of you can't do it on a daily basis, uh, I would like you guys to plug into it because it does a couple of things for you. I've been doing Vipassana for the last 23 years. So it kind of, that 1 hour of meditation that I've done helps me to process. I don't think about things because there should be no thought. That's the state you get to. But it kind of helps you plug your energetic cord into the energetic cord of the universe, right? It also keeps you in a state of equanimity. So there's no craving, no attachment to the things that you're doing in your life, and you're working from pure detachment. That is another principle that really helps you to get started. Because then, when you are not craving and you're not in attachment, you're not really attached to the things you do. You're kind of moving ahead with a lot of detachment. You're still doing it on a karmic level, like we Indians do it very well, and you're actually practicing what the Bhagavad Gita says, which is, no craving, no attachment. Not that I'm telling you to be a Hindu. No, I'm just talking about the pure principle of karma and the pure principle of moving ahead without attachment. Okay, that's what I want to focus on. So I meditate. So taking you back to what it does for you is it puts you in a space of non-detachment. there's a football match going on, and I'm at my mother's today, so please pardon the noise if there's any. So that's one, right? I do it also because it does, in a way, help ground you and center you. And it's a yin activity. It's an activity that gets me in touch with a lot of my female energy for the day, because my male energy, which is the yang energy, is more active, and my female energy I need to tap into all the time. So in your case, it could be the opposite. That's why you're looking at them. Yeah, you're looking at both those energies and how they are dominating your life. This is how I look at mine. The other thing that I do when I wake up, which again is a very young activity and it is a very out there activity, is I make a to do list. I kind of do it the night before to set me up for the next day. That's a habit that I've cultivated, so I know what my next day is looking like. But I'm using something called the 5 second journal. It's by a lady called Melissa Robbins. You can go onto her Instagram account, and it's really helped me to. I really look at how to structure my day. And for meditation, the question that's come up is, how do I do it? Please go to my meditation video on IGTV. It'll get you started. I look at how to set up my day, and I make that to-do list to accomplish that. I have certain tasks to accomplish the next day. I also put a timeline to them. So the third thing that I do is I put a timeline as to what my next day is looking like time wise. I know it's being super, some may say it's being super OCD, obsessive compulsive, and some may say it's being super compartmentalized, but that's a little bit of Vinay, will look forward to hearing from you. It kind of gets me thinking about how I'm going to divide the time. Right, it's Sunday today, and it's a working Sunday for me today, so I've kind of divided the time also today as to how I'm going to accomplish the day, at least till about 6 o'clock, till when I'm working, at least for Sunday, right? That's the time I'll switch off today. So I look at my time and I look at the to-do list for the day. So that's another thing I do. And I know most of you may be doing it. There's no rocket science to this, but I just like to put it out there so that you remind yourself that these are the things that will keep you going on a daily basis. Yeah, so one is, I'm going to recap: meditate, do a to-do list, schedule a time for your to-do list. The other thing that I do is I exercise almost every day. Okay, if I take the one day off, it could be a Wednesday, but I do some form of movement, whether I indulge in yoga, whether I do skipping, whether I do a functional exercise form, whether I swim for the day, or whether I just simply put out my mat on a Sunday evening and stretch. Movement, as we all know, I don't need to tell you this, builds endorphins, gets your endorphins going. Doesn't build endorphins, but gets your endorphins going, and puts you in a better state to handle the rest of your day, or to handle your day. I do it in two bits. So what I do is, in the morning I'll do something, and then I break my day up at 4 because I have rather long days. So I break my day up at 4 and I go for a swim. That kind of helps me to get second wind for the second half of my day. So I do it that way. I don't know what you're going to use to do it, but do it regardless whether you do it once a day or twice a day. Just do something that helps you get going. Yeah. Then the other thing that I do is I wake up really early. I didn't say that about the morning. So I've always done an early morning routine in my life. I think that comes from my mom and my grandmom, where I always saw them wake up early. I also feel you accomplish a lot because there's a lot I need to do. Like, I feel I want to do my meditation. I feel I want to put out that mat and stretch. So I wake up around 4:35, and so another thing that really helped me do it is Robin Sharma's book called the 5 a.m. Club. I always did it, but that book helped me reconnect to what I do. So it helped me go back to the principles of waking up early, because I'd lost that for a bit in my life, and helped me to wake up to accomplish. Now that can only happen if you sleep on time, right? So I make sure I'm in bed by about 10. I know I'm sounding extremely disciplined, but that's what I've done to really accomplish what I'm doing. So thanks Roy. I don't know which book you're referring to, which was a masterpiece, but thank you. So I sleep on time, which means I wind down on time, which means If I work backwards, I'm going to take a stop at my day, which I wasn't doing, because being an entrepreneur and going into so many different areas and wanting so many different things out of your life, and bringing in the work constantly, um, helps you to get so charged with the energy of giving out that you kind of stop to look at your own day and say, okay, this is the time I'll stop. Now, the 5 second journal helped me, Melissa's journal helped me understand that very well. That, listen, there has to be a stop at a day. So what I do is I pretty much set that up in the morning. But if I stop is really my choice. But I try to. What it helps me do is just 1 hour before I retire for the evening, I need an hour to unwind and process what's happened in the day and then sleep. So that 1 hour happens 2 hours before I go to bed, right? Um, so make sure that that in that 1 hour when you're preparing for sleep, you've dimmed the lights in your house, because we all know what that does to you. You're away from your computer. Yes, you're busting stress with a little bit of television, but you're not going into a Netflix series which is going to take you into the wee wee hours of the morning. I've talked about this. So, hi Tina. So you have to make sure that you wind down early so that you can have that early morning. Because I believe that if you don't get your 7 8 hours, I'm gone. So I need those 7 8 hours to recover, recuperate, and just remember, human growth hormone is coming only out of your sleep, right? So you need that time to get up, get out, and get going. So wind up early. That's another principle that you need to follow, okay? Start winding up about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, and in a way that your environment supports you. So, a couple of things that I do is, like I said, I dim the lights. I start using frankincense oil, which really helps to calm me down, in the sense, a lot of anxiety in the day because of what, so I rub it on my pulse points. I also use a lot of lavender oil just before bedtime. So I use those two oils to really help me, and I think that's taken me to the next level as far as winding down early is concerned. So that you might want to slip in. I switch off my phone on vibration mode while I'm working on something focused. So let's say I'm whipping out a chapter on my book, or I am, concentrating on a task that I need to finish. I don't have my phone near me and I don't have it on vibration mode, because that too is a stimulus for you to respond or to get back to that person. So I don't want any sound, or I don't want any visual in front of me. I don't want to feel compelled to respond. Okay. So while I keep checking if I'm on a task that I'm trying to accomplish, I will not plug into it. That's one thing I do when I work. And in the evenings, I switch it off. I have it on, I have vibration mode off, and I also have my screen turned down. Those are the two things I've used to help me unwind for the day. I will check it. There is a landline, so if there are emergencies, the family can get in touch with them on the landline with me, sorry. But I just think there is a certain cutoff that you should have in the day, and a certain cutoff that you should have if you're focusing on a task, because then you tend to get. So what the other thing I'm trying to do is not multitask anymore. I'm trying to take one task and finish it and go through my task and then come back to whatever I have to do. That's another thing. So not multitasking helped. Okay, I'm a big multitasker. I can do 7 things at one time. Okay, but I realized cutting that down first to 5 things and then cutting it back to 4 and then making it 3 and then now making it literally 0 has really helped me go that little extra mile. The other thing that I do, which helps me through my days, also I break up my time into blocks, and I take time out to do something fun. So let's say I'm writing for my books, which I'm currently doing right now, or I'm creating the content that I want to create for you guys, or I am putting things out on my blog or whatever. I tend to, and I'm not consulting, so that's another thing that I do quite actively. Or I'm now starting my kitchen, so that's going to go into motion. What I do is I take some time off to listen to a song that I like. Okay, that makes me really happy. And I take my dogs out and I go for a run with them or a play time with them on my terrace. These are the two ways I use instead of walking to the kitchen, looking in the fridge, and looking for things to eat, because I could be really contracted, really younged out, really stressed out, and I could be looking for sugar. And I don't do that because I'm pretty well balanced with my foods, like I'm teaching you on the posts how to do that. So then what I do is I use that time to get out there and use a little playtime. It's a little me playtime that brings me back to focus on my work. Yeah, so I've been doing that a lot. Uh, the other thing that I do is I've always set up a vision board, not just for the year but for the week. Yeah, I'll try Eminem's new album. Okay, I will. I'm always looking for people recommending music to me. So I set up a vision board for the year, and then I set up a vision board for, yes, it's a good thing to break it with dates, Tina. And I set up a vision board also for uh, the week, which helps me to kind of plan and put my larger goals on paper to see how I'm going to proceed. So I think that's something that's really helped me. Vision boards really help, and I think you should try and do that. Yeah. Uh, of course, having a great staff helps. Having a great support system helps. The other one thing which I've missed out on, which I do in the mornings, is I set up my day as far as my foods are concerned. So I have a meeting. I'm very privileged to have a kitchen staff that supports me and understands the kind of food that I eat. I'm also, in a way, myself. So I take the time out in the morning, about 20 minutes, to plan my day on a food level. So I have a meeting with my kitchen staff as to what they're going to give me so they can plan that backwards. I have one person who helps me on this, who plans backwards and says, okay, we have that shiitake mushroom you're going to need, or we have the vegetable broth which you're going to need, or we have zucchini in the fridge which you're going to need, because I kind of tell them that this is my breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. That kind of sets up my foods. Now, most of you who don't have it, you have to take time out yourself to do it, right? So please do that for yourself. I cook every day, to answer your question, Sahaj, I think, for myself for dinners. So my dinner prep is done by my staff, but I cook my dinner myself. I don't do my lunch and my breakfast because I feel that's the time I get a little busy. So then I have a kitchen staff that gets that together. So I plan that. So anyway, I also have a meeting with the people I try to have things going with. So like, if someone is doing something for me on a social media front, I'm kind of addressing them. If I need to address my SEO team, search engine optimization team, I do that. I use that morning time to set up with them, so I know what my day is looking like going ahead. So that's another thing that I do in the mornings. So these are the things, and I'm going to recap again. I plug into meditation. I wake up early. Because I wake up early, I set myself up the day before early. I wind down at a reasonable time. I make sure that my environment is conducive to winding down. I make sure that I write my goals out for the day, so the to-do list happens a day before, with the time that I'm going to stop work, with the time-wise schedule of what I'm going to accomplish. I exercise every day. I take time out to play, which means I break it up with my work. I break my day up in the middle of the day to take another little swimming break, because that's a yin activity that I'm doing to support all the yang activity that I have in my life. I make sure that I listen to that one song during the time of play, or I play with my dogs, because that gives me it's unconditional activity that you're doing for yourself. I make sure I have a vision board in place for the week and the year, uh, even the month. Sometimes I am a bit OCD as far as my discipline is concerned. I'm sorry. I'd like to put it out there. I go very focused, so I do break that up. What else? I put my phone off when I'm working on a focused task. Literally off, vibration mode off, screen down. I do that even when I unwind for the day. So I start that unwinding process early, about 2 to 3 hours early before I sleep, so that I don't plug into anything on a stimulus front. I'm really in the unwind mode. I'm using frankincense and lavender to help me unwind. I start with frankincense and graduate to lavender when I sleep. I feel it puts me in a calmer space. So, this is what I've done for myself, and I hope I can leave you with these thoughts for today. I would like you to address everything else with me on via DM or reach out to me on my email ID. I'd be happy to do posts. I'm addressing a lot of people with problems that they have. We're doing a post for them or a blog. And stay healthy and be happy. The beauty of life is that you have to be happy and you have to be content with what you have, and going forward you have to have compassion and a lot of gratitude for where you're at. Okay, good luck for your Sunday, and enjoy, and spend time with family and friends. That's really important. Okay, it's good for the soul. Bye, and see you soon.